In case you missed it, one of the hottest players in the world was on 5 clubs this week. Chris Gotterup. He won the Scottish Open. He went right through Rory McIlroy, essentially in his backyard, backed it up with a solo third at the Open Championship, and now he is front and center in that Ryder Cup conversation. Here's my conversation with Chris Gotterup. Good morning. How you feeling?
I'm not really sure. Definitely a little tired, but just trying to, take this week as a recovery week and get ready for the playoffs.
I know that rest and recovery when you're on a heater is important, and you went right from the Open Championship to the 3M and you continued the great play. But we'll get to all that. I want to go back though for you and your family. Athletic families. Your dad can play golf. Your dad, Morton, who's won 5 New Jersey State amateur titles, various different events. Your sister playing lacrosse at the Naval Academy. You played lacrosse. What was your house like growing up? Was there equipment everywhere? Was every day like a fire drill trying to get you and your sister and your dad to all these different events?
Yeah, I mean, it still is. My mom still gets mad at me for, I got clubs here, clubs there, lacrosse sticks and all that stuff. So, yeah, we always have something going on in our house, which makes it exciting.
Did you feel, whether you were, 8, 10, 12 years old, particularly competitive? Do you remember dying lousy to beat your dad for the first time?
I don't remember exactly when it happened, but I remember we played each other in the club championship at Rumson Country Club, and he beat me the first time, and then I've gotten the best of it since. But yeah, it's been fun. I didn't really care enough until I don't know when it just clicked, but then I started caring and wanted to beat him and everyone.
What did that look like and sound like, you playing against your dad in the club championship? Was it civilized? Did it get a little chippy?
I was still young enough to where it was civilized. He actually, I remember he was like upset that he beat me the first time, and then like once I started getting older and could talk some smack and I probably bothered him, then he really wanted to beat me. So we definitely went back and forth. I think we played 2 or 3 times in the club championship, and the club liked it too because they knew that we go back and forth with each other on the golf course, and yeah, it's just fun.
No, of course. All right, let's get to now, but let's go back to the spring. You started playing, again, people in the media, people who cover the sport, you follow the top 10, top 5, but you were building and you were getting good results. 64 on a Sunday, the CJ Cup Nelson, and 65 at Myrtle Beach in your defense of winning a title. U.S. Open, another good week. Maybe you wanted more out of that Sunday. What were you finding? Where were you, the form that you got as you were headed to the Scottish? What was working for you?
I would say the start of the year, I really just did not drive the ball particularly well, and that's my game. If I'm driving it well, I can play well anywhere. But yeah, I wish, like people have been asking me these last couple weeks what's clicked, and everything's been, I've been playing better, obviously, but I don't know the real answer other than that I've just really tried to focus on, each course and how I'm playing and managing my misses and just trying to manage myself along the golf course. Just making sure I'm missing in the right spots, and I think I've done a really good job of that over the last couple weeks.
When you shoot 61 on Friday at the Scottish, immediately the line is, well, it's it's hard to follow a low one with a low one. Do you have a theory as to why that is? Because that is something that everyone says and has said since the beginning of time. Why?
I think it's like, unless you go shoot a back nine 27, you get off to a good start and the round just seems easy. So let's say you're 3 under through 5, and then, you start the next day and you're even through 5, and you're just like, well, I'm 3 shots back of yesterday already. and then I think he's trying to start to push a little bit, and maybe the ball is just not going in like it was the day before. But I don't know. It is a fascinating. The psychology of it is fascinating.
So you shoot 70 Saturday, and the way everything conspires, you know before you go to sleep Saturday night, you're going to play with Rory on Sunday, okay? Were you alone that week? Did you? I don't know if you had any friends or family with you, because obviously when you won, you got very emotional. The fact that, you know, the support you got. Were you alone? Like, what'd you do Saturday night? You go to dinner down the street? What did you do?
I'm trying to remember. We teed off. I ate at the course because we teed off at 4 p.m. So there was nothing open in North Berwick at the time at, you know, whenever we were done at 9 o'clock. So, yeah, I was by myself all week, other than, you know, a couple of buddies that were playing in the tournament too. We were all staying at the same hotel. But, yeah, I was just kind of hanging and doing my own thing all week. And we would walk to town and get dinner some nights. But for the most part, I was just doing my own thing.
So Sunday, you mentioned the late start Saturday. Wasn't quite as late on Sunday. The times were a little bit earlier, but it's not like you teed off at 11. You know you've got Rory. Knowing that you're paired with the guy who is as big a star as there is in the game, did that change the way that your mind was operating heading into Sunday?
I don't know. I think if anything, it probably helped me because I had time to prepare, and the fact that I knew I was going to have to bring it. There was no, and I mean, and I was playing with Wyndham as well, who's, you know, a major champion and multiple time winner. So when you have those guys behind you, you know, especially when you're playing with them, you know, I'm going to have to go put up a good score today. So one of them is going to play well along with the other guys, you know, in the groups behind.
Chris, what do you remember about, you know, the 18th hole? I'm watching you, and it's not in the bag. You've got a little cushion, but again, you know how it is. You got to focus all the way to the end. But you guys, you and Rory were kind of chirping with each other, walking down the 18th fairway, and then when they walk to the side of the green and you hold your putt, you win. You had a nice exchange there in the scoring thing. What do you remember about maybe the words that were shared between you guys on that last hole and when it was over?
Yeah, it was funny. We were talking off the tee box. We hadn't talked on the back nine much, just because we were, you know, opponents in the heat of battle. But someone said something out of the crowd, and along the lines of, like, you know, Chris, you need to lose this so Rory can win. And then and Rory said something to the guy, and we were just laughing about how people are, you know, no matter where you go, someone's always going to say something dumb, and we were just laughing at, you know, we were talking about stuff that's happened and whatnot. And yeah, and it was cool. After the round, he was very, very nice, and you know, he said congrats, and I think he realized, for me, it was a big moment in my career, and, you know, I think I did a good job of stepping up to the plate and didn't back down from him, and I think he probably respected that a little bit.
Most certainly. Chris, look, you grew up in Jersey. You know these home teams and the idea of winning on the road. You won a road game, a bona fide road game, and you looked at the biggest star for the home team, and you heard "Come on, Rory" a million times on that Sunday. You had to leave there even more emboldened, don't you think?
Yeah, for sure. It was so crazy just because it all just happened so fast, where, like, you know, obviously you leave that week and you feel amazing about what you just did, but then, all right, my whole plans just changed. I have to book a flight to Northern Ireland, get all that set up, and get ready for a major championship. I think, you know, if there was a week off after this, things might look different. You know, I could probably have, you know, sailed into the sunset a little bit after a win, but yeah, I definitely parlayed it into a couple good weeks for sure.
You absolutely did, and I'm looking at your little media scrum after the Open Championship where you step up and you and a couple other guys kind of were close to putting some heat on Scotty's, the back of his neck, but not entirely. So you solo third, and one of the things you said afterwards was, when you were asked about the Ryder Cup, you're like, look, I haven't thought about it at all. That's changed now, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I've talked about it a little bit, but at the end of the day, I know I have an important 3-week stretch coming up here. Whether the Ryder Cup exists or not, I want to finish as high as I can in the FedEx Cup and get ready for, a good off season. And whatever comes with that, and, we'll let the chips fall where they may. So
after the Open, and between the Open and this morning, have you talked to Keegan Bradley?
We have exchanged texts, but that's about it.
Did you know that he had your number?
I did not, but I mean, in the golf world, I'm sure you can bark up whatever tree you want to find whatever you need.
That is true. Now, nobody's reached out to you about clothing measurements?
No, I gotta go earn it these next couple weeks, and if not, I've still had a great season, and if so, it would be an amazing achievement as well.
One of the things that I find interesting about look, you did everything at the college level. It's not like you didn't have pedigree. You got as much as anybody. But now you're in a place where, look, guys like me and all these other media outlets, they want a piece of you. Have you always been pretty good about keeping the noise where the noise needs to be? And when you need to focus, that's easily achievable?
Yeah, I think so. I think I'm good at turning it on and turning it off when it needs to be, whatever that needs to be. Yeah, and obviously, there's different levels of, media and interest in what I've been doing now than, before. But yeah, I mean, it's good problems to have, and obviously I'm excited with what's happening, and but definitely ready for, just trying to make sure I prioritize what's important, in the given situation. So whether that's getting ready for a tournament or like this week, making sure I'm resting and recovering, but also making sure my game's still sharp for, the playoff stretch here.
Did you clap back at somebody who declared themselves an expert on the 3M Open?
Yeah, I was on my phone, whatever, just scrolling. We were flying back from Ireland, and I think someone might have sent it to me. And you got to have a little fun with that stuff. And I'm fully aware that if I said something, that I would expect people to give it back to me as well. So I'm not afraid to poke a little fun if I feel like it's needed, and I'm also willing to take it as well, knowing that that's what comes with that.
No doubt. I thought that the little thing you posted after you won the Scottish, had you been waiting to use that about give me my money?
We used it in school. It was like a video that I just have all these funny videos on my phone from my friends sending them or whatnot. And I always used it when we won in college, and we won a lot that year. And now every time that I've won, I've used it. And I think it's just a funny, like, the video is hilarious.
It's hilarious.
It's also just no one's going to complain about, winning an event and making a couple bucks. And I think it's just a funny video on top of it.
Oh, it's great. All right, let's get Chris out of here. 5 quick questions to go. The first one, I don't know how good. I'm sure they're good. The deli's in Monmouth County, New Jersey. What's your go-to Jersey deli sandwich?
It depends on if it's in the morning or in the afternoon, but I'm usually a pork roll, egg, and cheese guy on a bagel if it's in the morning. But if it's the afternoon, there's this place, Gianni's in my town, they make a chicken vodka wrap, which is pretty good.
I'm sure it is. All right, give me the tour player that you think is the most enjoyable guy to play with because of how quickly they play, their pace of play, the company. Who's the most enjoyable pairing on tour for you?
That's a good question. I don't know. I will say last week I played 3 rounds with Wyndham, and we had a good time out there. Our caddies are really good friends, and he likes to give it to me, and I'll give it back to him. So yeah, there's so many good. I like Lucas Glover's great.
Yeah.
There's a lot of guys who are fun to play with. I would have a hard time saying one off the top of my head.
All right, give me the golf course in Jersey, not Pine Valley, that is your favorite, because that doesn't count. It's not a fair fight. Your favorite Jersey golf course, not PV.
I mean, biased, my course, Rumson Country Club, is my favorite. I'd play there every day. But in school, we played Plainfield a bunch, and I really enjoy that place.
Very, very good spot. There's so many. All right, your dad's basically my age, and I had a certain comedy genre that I loved. Is there a comedy that your dad loved when he was your age or younger that you've watched that you like? Comedy movie.
Not a movie, but he loved Top Gear, the BBC Top Gear. That was his he's more of an intense movie guy.
Okay.
I'm probably more of the comedy and stupid humor person than in our family.
Okay, so you never saw like Stripes or Trading Places? Oh God, Chris.
No. I'm gonna kill you with movies. I haven't seen all the good ones or anything.
You're not alone. I ask Scheffler about movies all the time. He's like, I haven't seen it. I'm like, gosh, you kids. All right, last thing.
Yeah.
Your favorite sporting event that you attended as a kid?
The most memorable for me, we went and watched the 2010 U.S. Open at Pebble Beach. I just remember I think I was like 11 at the time, and I had never really been to anything like that. And, Tiger Woods on 18, 15 people deep, and you're on the ocean and stuff like that. For some reason, that one's ingrained in my brain. And then we'd been to Knicks games and stuff, living close to the city, and you just kind of get a good appreciation for where you are when you're at events like those.
No doubt. Is that an Open Championship hoodie you got there with the logo?
Yeah.
Oh, that's strong. Very strong purchase right there. Listen, thank you for taking the time, getting up early. Know you're trying to get some rest. Good luck in this big stretch coming up.
Awesome. Thanks, Gary.
Hope you enjoyed that conversation with Chris Gotterup. His name is not going anywhere.